we know that Quicksort makes use of your divide and conquer technique. So here it is. So as usually I have two files. So I have two files here. So here we also know that it's a recursive call. Observe, your Quicksort consists of your Quicksort class consists of two different functions. One is quick, the other one is partition. And here your quick also takes three parameters. One is high, low, and your array values. We'll still, if you people want to have an explanations, we'll just take up that later. We'll see the program part. So here what we have is, we know that your Quicksort makes use of divide and conquer technique. So here it needs, the array has to be divided. To divide that array, actually we find the pivot element. We call this as a pivot element. In the initial case, we just assume that the first element itself is a pivot element, but that is not the exact position of your pivot element. You know, the first iteration happens whenever when you call your partition function. What actually it does is it simply finds the position of your pivot element. So here we have a code. So the code goes like this. The partition code goes like this. Once the partition happens, here is a clue. Here we have a clue. Once the partition happens, the elements which are towards the left of your pivot element will be less than the pivot element. The element which is having towards the right of your pivot element will be greater than your pivot element. That is the exact position we search for. That is what your Quicksort does. I'll explain the algorithm in the next video. But here, just understand one thing. Once, if I want to find out the pivot position, then I have to go through this. This is the part. This is the partition part. So once your partition takes place, once you got the position of your pivot element, it just returns the value of that pivot, that is pivot element. So here, after you get the pivot element position, what you do is you divide your array into two parts. One is, the first part of array consists of a comma low comma j minus 1, and the next part consists of, you know this, you have already know this concept with respect to your binary search. Observe, we are not adding that pivot element either to your either part of the array. What I'm trying to do is I'm just keeping aside that element has kept aside, means it is kept in the middle. Whereas the first part of array, what I just said, right? This is the left part of the array. This is the left part of array. Whatever you have passed. So here the elements are lesser than pivot element. Here pivot element is nothing but j, right? Here the pivot element, whatever you just search for, it becomes an j is a position. It's a position for you, but anyhow it's an index. You need not worry that it's an index. So like that only. Here what we have is the next recursive call is like this is the right part of array. So here the elements are greater than the pivot element, right? So this is what happens. So next, so as soon as you get the position, you divide the array and you'll just call recursively. And anyhow, as I said that, as usually we have in this package, we have two classes. One is Quicksort, the other one is Quicksort main. As we know that this is a traditional part, what we are seeing from the previous programs, we have two functions which are separated from your main function, and we have kept it in Quicksort. It is actual work performed by your Quicksorters. And here in the Quicksort main, we have something like, we have main function. We have a this is a class. This is a class. This is the class I have, and you can just analyze here what is the necessity of having a scanner package and what is the necessity of importing your random packages. Random package is used to generate your random numbers, and your scanner package is used to get the input from the user, right? And here what I have done is I'm just creating an object for your quick sort. I'm simply creating an object for your quick sort. It is queue. And next thing is I'm just having an array elements. Keep it in mind. These elements are generated by an random. These elements are generated by random. So here, and also in case of your both quicksort and mergesort, what we do is we simply take like we have a next element, like we are creating an object to read an element. Here we are creating an object to read an element from the keyboard. It is to the next int and it will be saved in n. So next what I'm trying to do is, so here I have the random numbers. So the random numbers will be generated. So that number will be kept in your A, that is your arrays. So here what we do is I simply put the array elements and I apply a quick sort here. I apply a quick sort, and later thing is I'll just call, then anyhow the function will be applied here. This applies your quick sort function, and after sorting, after the elements are sorted, I'll display it. And here we have still other information here. That is what I came to tell something. So here we are recording a time. We are recording a time because you know that, right? This is a main part which takes maximum amount of time, right? This is a function call which takes the maximum amount of time. So here what I'll do is before calling this function, I'll record a time. I'll record a time and I'll just make that as a start time. And as soon as the function call has been ended, as the working have been ended, then I'll record the time. It is known as end time. So this is how I'll get the time. This is how I'll get the time, since it is recorded in terms of milliseconds. So probably its data type I've taken it as long. As usual, this is a sample. This is a simple one. You know this. You are just calculating a total time, it is end time minus start time, and later I'll just display the time also. We'll just execute this part. Let me execute this. So here I'll just give a number of elements as 10. So here I'm getting the elements. Now you can see that you'll be like sir, we have only 0 milliseconds. Keep it in mind. For this, like even if you give the elements for 50 also, you'll get 0 itself. Make sure that your n value should be bigger. Your n value should be bigger like this. Like you have a 5,000. You have a 5,000. Anyhow, the elements will be sorted. Observe carefully. Here, I'll just display with this one. Wait, I'll just take this and I'll just display with I'll just change the program. These are the random elements generated. And next, these are the elements which is being sorted. And for that, time taken is 22 milliseconds. I'll run it. I'll run again. Now this time I'll simply give 6,000. And here it takes 43 milliseconds. And I'll run again. I'll give 7,000 and the time will be recorded. So it keeps on varying. So next, we'll just move on. So the another input will give. So this is how the time will be recorded. So we just draw the graph for this. For these things, we just draw the graph. That's it with your quick sorters. So observe here.